enjoyed it too. So, okay, can I get somebody to offer the prayer?
I can do it.
Thank you.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for this day and the opportunity we have to gather here together as a group and to be able to discuss the things we have been learning from school. And we're grateful for the opportunity we have to be students and to be able to feel Thy love in the Spirit. Now we ask to bless us with the Spirit. It may be with us that we may be able to talk about things that we need to learn and that we may ponder and understand. And we love Thee, we love the gospel. We say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that. And I would just like to add that, we should probably keep Caitlin and her family in our prayers as well as they're battling these fires in California. She sent me her answers for lesson 10, but she just said that she's just not going to have enough internet connection to join us.
I'm glad she reached out. So that's good.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
I am too. Okay, so let's go to lesson 9. I thought it was pretty interesting. I mean, I remember hearing about Lance Armstrong all over the news. So I wasn't surprised, but let's see. Let's see where. It looks like these are the answers these are the questions that we answered in the group discussion, but we can go through them.
Yeah.
What do you guys feel like Lance Armstrong's legacy is?
I don't think it's positive.
Yeah.
Right? You always want to leave with a positive message or a positive image of yourself, right? And I don't think that quite happened with him.
Which is kind of sad, because I think he was lying, but at the same time, he was an example for other people fighting cancer and all that kind of stuff, So, but yeah, I don't think he has a legacy. Maybe for those people who gone through cancer, maybe, but even then, I don't know. I wouldn't see him as my role model kind of thing, So.
No, that's kind of how I feel. I just feel like, if he would have just kept it honest, and even before he started doping in all of his performance enhancers, then he could have really had a good chance of being a real good role model and leaving a positive legacy. But, that just is the price that we pay for making our choices. Says Armstrong organized and led what was perhaps the most sophisticated and comprehensive cheating program in the history of sports. Who suffered from his cheating, and what were the costs?
I put that there were lots of people that suffered, everyone from the U.S. government, because the U.S. Postal Service was his sponsor, allegations that they knew what was going on, to the fans. You think of the people that supported him and how devastating that was to some of them that were really invested in him. And I think even the American public, because we become so nationalistic about our, because the Tour de France is such an international event. And I think even people that are not fans of the Tour de France or bike riding got caught up that, hey, we've got the world's greatest bike rider, national pride in that, only to find out he was kind of a fraud.
Yeah, I liked your answer on our discussion board post, because I agree. I think it was so embarrassing. You want to support people that are going to be participating honestly. At least that's what I like to do. I like to participate teams and athletes that are honest and just not on the court per se, but off the court, in their interviews or whatnot, that they're participating honestly.
So it makes me wonder, you bring that point up, how often do we we elevate someone's stature, right, in terms of who they are and what they've accomplished, they fall hard. Are we able to trust that level of a performer again? And does it make us kind of jaded towards others in that respect?
I would think so. I mean, especially, anybody that performs as well as Armstrong did in the Tour de France, you're going to go, what is he on? I mean, you're never going to look at it. At least for me, I wouldn't look at it the same.
Mm-hmm.
But can he, and this is a question that I kind of ask myself, can he get some brownie points because he came up clean, and I guess he's not lying anymore. And I guess he has all these organizations where he's helping people with cancer and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So can he get some kind of, I want to think about the miracle forgiveness, as a church of the members, you go do something bad, but you repent and you come to, the church with whole arms open and ready to work, So I want to think that way too, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting to think,
But do you think he's repented? I mean, because he was so ugly about it and ugly towards people who were questioning him. And I'm like, I feel like now that he's only coming out and being honest because there was just so much evidence stacked up against him.
Yeah, I really appreciate the last paragraph of the case study, his interview with Oprah Winfrey, when he said that, for me, I think it was about that ride and about losing myself and getting caught up in that and doing all those things along the way. So I think he's starting to, just this, and this was written in what year? 2014, so 4 years ago. I would imagine that since then there's been other things that have come up or things in his life that he's really had a chance to look back and go, I was really stupid, or, changing his ways maybe a little. You don't hear about him anymore, so who knows?
So I went to his website, after I read this, Live Strong or whatever, and it's still up, and he's still helping those people with cancer, and he has these organizations where he can help and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, when I saw that, I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe I can give him the benefit of the doubt, So,
yeah. Well, that's good of you. Yeah, no, I agree.
So,
okay.
Yeah, that didn't make it right, though.
No, but I think, he's still doing positive things. I mean, hate the sin, love the sinner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, all right. Were the other writers, Hamilton, Landis, and those who testified, too loyal to Armstrong or not loyal enough?
I think they were too loyal.
Yeah.
I think they were too loyal because they went along with what he was doing. They were doing the same thing when what they should have been doing is standing up and saying, this isn't right. We don't want to win this way. That's my opinion.
I think that there might be a flip side to that, because sometimes I think that they're not loyal enough. If they were loyal to him and they loved him, would they have helped him? I mean, I don't know. I think that there's kind of it depends on which side of the coin you're looking at.
Or to some degree, were they after the same kind of glory, thinking that he's received that glory? I'm going to go down that same route, and maybe blinded by what really was the right action to take.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Think about a situation where you witnessed a leader, formal or informal, make a decision for others that made you uncomfortable. What was the situation and how did it make you feel?
If I remember, I heard when I was working with this attorney, and so in the state of Florida, you have to have two accounts. One account where, your account basically for the business, and the other account has to be for the client. You know, if they go on trial, you have to get that money out of their account, you know, so they can pay for the trial and all that kind of stuff. But we were not doing that. We were parking the money, basically, you know. And I saw that for, I don't know, 3 weeks maybe. And I was like, that's it. You know, I can get in trouble. I can't do this. And I just quit. That was my decision, you know, because I'm like, I don't want to be involved on this, you know. So it's crazy though. And that was just lying to the people, you know, and taking advantage of people and stealing their money. So
good for you. Good for you.
You know what? I did report him to the what's it called? The attorney,
like the bar
of Florida. So, and I don't know what happened after there. So, yeah.
Good for you. Does anybody else have an uncomfortable situation that they want to talk about? I've been lucky that I've never been in that situation. So super blessed there.
I talked a little bit about one that we've got at BYU right now with this new power plant that we're building. And the guy that's in charge of the power plant project has kind of gotten himself into trouble over it financially. It's a $65 million project. And I think because of that, the contractors and some of the people that are working on it have covered for him a little bit. And so I think he's so nervous that they're going to start asking for some sort of accommodations for some of the things that they've done, that he's kind of pushed things off. He's not been real honest with everybody on time schedules. He hasn't pressured the contractor like he should. You know, we really need to have this power plant fired up and going by January. And so kind of in part because of this lesson, I finally called a meeting that we actually held today. And I think we had about 35 people there, all the engineers and architects. And we just put everything out on the table. And in the end, I heard comments as people walked out that we accomplished more today than we have in the last 6 months. And it was just finally getting everybody honest and really talking and being frank and talking about things and not burying things. And the funny thing is, even the guy that's been struggling with this project came into my office and thanked me for getting that meeting set up and said how great he felt it went. And I just wish we'd have done this 6 months ago. We wouldn't be in the kind of the hole that we're in right now.
Bart, that's fabulous. I love hearing that. Good for you.
Yeah,
turned out good.
Great.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's hard to, you know, I'm thinking of a situation at work right now with the person in the position that I was in previously, and how things are not the same, and you start to kind of hold grudges against that. But I've also noticed how this individual is kind of tainted and polluted the relationships that she could have with others, because she's not going about things an appropriate way, and in doing so, her boss is not willing always to address the situation, and it really starts to create a really negative atmosphere around people. And so I appreciate when we can address things and when we can look at the situation and set aside our angst and our issues with the people and address the situation. I think that's an important thing to do.
I agree. Yep. I think, you know, it just goes back to even our first lesson. Communication is absolutely key. It's absolutely key. And you cannot move forward without it. And sometimes communication has to be super uncomfortable and it can be super hard. But my gosh, that is the first step to any team, any family, interpersonal relationship is communication. So awesome. Let's see. I think, what basic principles guide your integrity? Are there times when there are gray areas? How do you choose correctly?
love the fact that we can, and I mentioned in my answer to this, that we can all be guided by the Holy Ghost. That we all have the ability to listen and to know when, and to feel, maybe even more importantly, when something isn't right. And really have that be our guide to understand when things need to be changed or addressed, or to listen to people a little more. Obviously, we're all taught the principles of the gospel. We're taught right from wrong. We have beliefs that may be different than those that we work with, but in the end, that the Holy Ghost can really be that one true guiding force that helps us in difficult situations.
I agree.
I was thinking a little. Oh, I was thinking, Danny, a little bit of a story that we hear at church. You guys have probably all heard this one before, but you guys have heard a story about when they were interviewing stagecoach drivers. You remember where we're going with this? And they interview all the guys, and the first stagecoach driver says, "I can get within 3 inches of that cliff wall, and I'm not going to go over. I'll be fine." And the next guy says, "Well, I can get within 2 inches." You know, and they're all bragging about how good they can drive the team. And then the last guy says, "I'm going to stay as far away from that cliff wall as I can. I don't want to take any chances that I'll go over." And I kind of thought about that. You know, obviously he's the one who got the job. They wanted somebody that, you know, wanted to take care of their passengers and their team and their coach. It's kind of the same with business. You know, you don't want the guy that's going to get as close as he can to doing something unethical or illegal. You want the guy that's going to, if they stay away from that gray area, he's never going to have a problem with black and white issues. It's the guy that's always flirting with the gray area that's going to struggle with the black and white issues.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
I do too. I love that story. All right.
So I also appreciated Clayton Christensen's thought, and I've heard this many times before, that he just, when he was 16, making the stand that he wasn't going to play basketball on Sunday. And obviously, you know, knowing who he is and his background, religious background, it's easy for us to relate to that, or it could be easy, I guess. But, you know, to Bart's point, you know, we sometimes have to know where we stand, and it makes it easier to make those harder decisions because we've already rooted ourselves firmly in one spot.
You know, my nieces are from Montana, and they are not a predominant LDS community, and they have had to make that choice too. And kids their age just don't understand. They're like, "Well, we're having this basketball tournament, and it's on Sunday," and they just says, you know, and my sister, she's fabulous. She says, "I leave it up to my kids. This, you know, when they're little, I'll make those decisions." She says, "But as they get older, they need to feel the repercussions of their decisions, or the, you know, the consequence of their decisions." And she says, and these girls have just chosen that they just don't play basketball on Sundays. And I thought,
It's good for them.
yeah, I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of them.
There was a talk, one quick thing, I think in conference this last time, and I don't know, and I'll find it and email you guys, but it was, I don't want to say it was Elder Bednar, but it was talking about teaching your children to, something about choosing the right, but helping them understand what is right so they can make those decisions to choose the right instead of being told what is right. I'll find that article and send it to you, but I think that's an interesting idea, that so often that, just like you said, Danny, that we want our children, we want people to make the right decisions. We can't force them to, and over time they start to know and feel what is right and make those decisions because they have been able to, they've been given that opportunity to make those decisions.
Well, I totally agree. I feel like if parents are constantly making the right choice for their kids, and you know, I'm a helicopter mom, and so this is really hard for me to myself, but when you're constantly making those right choices for your kids, they they don't have that good feeling or that bad feeling. It's just like, my mom made this choice for me, so I have to do it. It's just, I do what my mom tells me to do. There's no reward or, punishment for it. So I just think it's important. All right, so let's go to the last question. It says, how will you personally measure your life, and how will you measure your success? I really liked that question a lot, because I made a whole laundry list of things, but mainly my measure of life will be how I treat people. I work super, super hard to be kind to everybody. I really, really, sometimes it's not easy, and sometimes I have to love them through gritted teeth, but I do work super hard not to, to more or less try to understand where somebody might be coming from. If they're having a bad day and they're taking it out on one of my cashiers, my cashiers come to me super mad about it, and I just says, you just don't know what kind of a day that they're having. So you brush it off. You know what kind of a person you are, so just brush it off. But that's how I measure my life.
A good way that I've been working on it is to see the people, what can they become? And if I look at the people, okay, you know what, as a children of God, and what can they become, it's a lot easier to have patience, to get to know them, and even love them too, and help them. So it has been kind of interesting to see that plays with my life and all that kind of stuff, so.
Absolutely, I agree. Okay. All right, let's get on to this super fun lesson 10. So let's see. All right, so basically the story is talking about these rafters who, their raft ripped or something like that, and they're kind of stranded, and it's getting rainy, and most of their supplies went down the river, so they didn't have a close town nearby. So that's, that was a horrible short story of it. It says, what are the first actions that must be taken, and what are the key items needed?
So, and you have the list, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's see here.
So were we going through and kind of ranking? So we've got our list and we've done our rankings, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think as a group, we gotta rank them.
Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen, and some of these weren't too, let's see. Oh, let me, hang on. Okay. Okay, do you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so now, can you still see that one page, or can you see both of my screens?
Yep. You can see.
Okay. I actually need it over here. Oh, come on. Okay, so let me just read through the instructions really fast, and you guys can kind of help me along because I was kind of confused. And so it says to give a quick scenario of the situation, review the items on the table for each consensus on ranking. Consensus means that your group should not merely vote or average rankings together. Instead, try to get everyone to more or less agree on the rankings. When someone disagrees, listen carefully. When someone feels strongly, that person should attempt to use persuasive techniques to create a consensus. A significant portion of your allotted hours should be spent discussing the rankings. The final product of this portion of the discussion should be the group consensus regarding the ranking of each item. Okay, number 5. Ask each group member to record the consensus ranking in column C. Okay. on their individual wilderness survival table. Okay, 6, introduce the expert ranking and have the students record this information in column D. Okay, so let's start with the fanny pack of food. I'm going to open this up and find out what our sweet Caitlin ranked it as. So Caitlin's fanny pack of food was 1. Does anybody match hers?
No, mine was 5.
That was I had 5 as well.
Yeah.
And I
had it at 9 because I felt like it was not going to be very much, and other items seemed a little more important. You know, maybe fishing bowls where you could actually catch all the food you needed was more important to me than, you know, all those people. 1 fanny pack of food wasn't going to go very far, I felt.
Well, I hadn't looked at it that way. How about you, Lisa? What did you pick?
I picked 3. That was my third choice. Because you need food to survive.
So, go ahead.
That makes a good point that, you know, there's 6 people, right? Cheese salami, who knows what else is in there? Who knows how soggy the whatever is after it's been dumped in the river, right? I don't know.
You know, I am kind of leaning towards making it further down the list as well, because I wasn't taking into consideration that, you know, it wouldn't be enough for everyone.
Yeah, I don't think it would go very far.
Yeah.
And maybe I think I'm too arrogant about my fishing skills. But I'm pretty sure if I had some fishing poles, I'd catch some fish. And there's other ways to get food. And then the other thing to consider is you can actually go for quite a while without food. I mean, you don't want to go forever, but I just felt like that fanny pack was going to be just enough to give everybody a quick meal. It wasn't going to last very long, I don't think.
You know,
and Lisa's point too, it may not be any good anyway.
Yeah, I ranked it as a 5 because I felt like it wasn't nearly as important as some of the other things were too, because you can go longer without food. So do you feel like that we're all in agreement that it should be a 9, or should it be further down?
So there's 14. Yep. Yeah, that works.
Yep.
Okay.
I had it listed as a 9. That's where I put it.
Okay, let's go on to plastic map. Let's see. Caitlin put a 7, and I put a 2.
I put a 7 too.
I
put a 12, and I'll explain it when you guys want me to.
What did you put, Lisa?
I put a 5.
Okay, so Bart, why don't you explain yours first?
Okay, the reason I put it, and maybe a little bit of context on a lot of these. I've been on a similar trip where we had not quite as bad a catastrophe. We did have a very similar problem. And so I feel like I remember a little bit about why we did some of the things we did and some of the things that were important. But on this trip, to me, it sounds like they're going to be following a river. And even when it empties into some lakes, I think they have a pretty good idea where they're going. And I don't think that they're going to deviate from that river system. And if that's the case, I'm not sure a map's going to be all that important, because you're just going to keep following the water down if they're able to. They're going to do one of 2 things. Well, in my opinion, you have 3 options. They can try to hike out, which doesn't sound very logical or easy given the terrain and the amount of water. The second option is to somehow repair their boats and float out. And the third option is to sit and wait where they are for help. And if they sit and wait, the map's not going to do them any good. And if they float out, I think they're just going to follow the course of the water, and they probably already understand where that's going. And I don't think a map is going to be critical, but that maybe someone has some ideas that I haven't thought of.
Well, for the survival at the moment, what is most needed, it isn't high on the list, right? And I have thought about the river guiding them, eventually getting somewhere. And really, I wouldn't know where I was at if I was in that situation. Would I be able to find it on a map to then be able to tell where I needed to go?
And that's why I put it on a 7, just because of that reason. So,
Yeah.
So I put 2, just for the simple fact, if they have to get out somewhere, they're trying to find this town. And I thought it was quite a ways off the river. And so I thought, God, they may need a map to, get to this town after they get off the river. Now, I'm no map expert, so it really wouldn't do me any good, but I was hoping that one of these other people would be a map expert and they'd be like, okay, here we are, this is where we got out and we need to head this way. So
and I agree, Danny, that if they were to try and hike out, that would be important.
yeah.
But it says that town is 60 miles away. They've got one person with a broken leg, and it's terrain that I'm not sure that they could hike through. I've spent a lot of time in that kind of country, and where it's a lot of water and bodies of water and stuff, it would just almost be impossible to walk through that kind of jungle and watery area for 60 miles, especially with someone with a broken leg.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think that they would have taken everybody, or do you think they would have left some behind and some go off for help?
I wouldn't do that. I would
That's an option.
leave people down there and then take people look for help.
Yeah, I think that that's what I would have done. I mean, I know, we hunt a lot, and that's, if somebody was injured, we would definitely leave some and go get help. So what do you guys want to rank the plastic cover map at?
Bart, what did you rank yours again as?
I put mine at 12.
Okay.
But I think it's negotiable. It also depends, and maybe as we work through this, we change things. But
yeah,
I think it depends on whether we decide that a hike out is going to be a good strategy or not. I have a different idea on how to get out when we get down to it. But I'm certainly negotiable to put it up higher or lower if you guys like on the list for now.
I say let's reach middle ground. Let's do 7.
Sure.
Okay. Does everybody agree with 7 for now? I mean, because we can always change these once we get further down.
No, I agree. I have 7 before, so.
Okay. All right. So let's move along. So Sweet Caitlin has the flotation device. She has this at 11, and I have it at a 3.
I have it at 8.
Mine's at 10.
I'm at 8.
Yeah, because my way of thinking, I'm like, why would you need a flotation device if somebody has a broken leg and I don't know, I think they're wet or something and it's gonna be cold and all that,
Sure.
So
I think it's so funny because I can tell already that we all of us had different scenarios on how we were going to get out of here. And my scenario was I was leaving the broken leg person and, some people behind and taking the less injured to go get help.
Can the flotation devices be used as some sort of protection from the elements, build a little fort? I don't know.
I'm sure that they could be. I mean, yeah. So that's why I put mine at a 3 because I thought, gosh, if a guy could, if they're still in good shape, then a couple of people could get in them and go for help down the water.
Mm-hmm.
So I am totally negotiable. I'm
I don't know.
I
I wouldn't get in the water if it's too cold, you know, because I'll
Well,
be waiting there.
What if that's the fastest way to get help? Is in that cold water?
I think that there's a real danger if they're actually in the water to get hypothermia.
Sure.
Good
All
point.
right.
I think that's dangerous.
And if the weather is starting to cool, we don't want to be in the water, to Ramon's point.
Exactly.
Right.
So
All
Danny, I don't think I'm gonna go camping with you. Thing.
I don't blame you, although I do have a camper, so I'm kind of a sissy too. All right, so where do we want to put our 6-person flotation device?
I think most of us want it like on the top, right? I guess lower, like high number.
Yeah, it's not high on my list. I mean, it's not extremely important on my list.
Okay. How about you, Bart? Where are you at?
I ranked it at 8, and I think I have mixed feelings both ways on this one. Why don't we pick a number to kind of as a placer and stick it there, and then we can work back to it.
What did you and Ramon have, Lisa?
I had 10.
Have 8.
Let's go with 8. I mean, majority has 8, so we'll leave it at 8. All right, this is kind of fun. This is fun. All right. Fishing poles. Caitlin has 5. I have, because they're broken and I can't fish anyways, I have 9.
I got a 6 because I'm pretty bad at fishing and they're broken too. So.
Well, I have them at 3 because I'm going to use the duct tape to fix them.
Amen.
Oh.
There you go.
Except I put mine at 11. Now, but you have to hear me out. My number 1 is matches. So I want to be warm, and I'm okay not having food for a day or 2, right?
Oh, that makes sense, actually. Yeah.
That makes sense. No.
Even the fishing poles, can they be together in the rankings, because you can fish with duct tape fishing poles. Woo-hoo!
Right?
I agree on the matches. We get to being warm is going to be the most important skill to survive. You got to be dry and warm.
I agree.
Okay.
But food sounds good.
So do we want to? Well, yeah. Okay, fishing poles. Yeah.
So where are we going to rank these broken fishing poles? Some of us have them further down on our list, and some of them are there, a top priority.
Oh boy.
Can we do middle again? I mean, I know we took one already.
I know it. Look at this. We are all about compromise. We
do 6?
But I think we wanted the duct tape and the fishing poles, in my opinion, to be somewhat in tandem, because they're going to be used in tandem. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Okay.
I agree. So if we are going to put these at 3, then maybe we need duct tape at 4, or vice versa. Or
I was thinking at 3 then.
you want it at a 3?
Well, with the explanation that Lisa gave, yeah. So.
All right.
Fishing
So
poles
then-
and then duct tape at 4.
At 4.
Okay.
Bart,
So-
what are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I've got fishing poles at 3, and I have duct tape at 4 on my list.
Oh, well,
There you go.
there you go. Let's see. Caitlin had duct tape at 6. So we're pretty close.
Yep.
All right. So,
Can I just say something about duct tape, though?
yeah.
I mean, duct tape fixes everything. It's the most
Everything.
magical stuff in the world.
MacGyver.
When we were on our boating trip, I took a group of young men to Yellowstone Park, and there's two lakes there. One's called Lewis Lake and one's called Shoshone Lake. And then there's a 4-mile river in between. And we made homemade kayaks and took them in there. And you get really deep in the backcountry of Yellowstone. And as the boys were coming out, going down the river in those rapids, the bottoms of their boats kept hitting rocks that were poking up through the water.
Wow.
And they all ripped the bottoms of their boats out. So their boats were all sinking. We got them all to land. And for some reason, as we left home, I threw a roll of duct tape in my backpack. And all of a sudden I thought, well, we can try and tape these boats shut. And that duct tape fixed every one of those boats. None of them leaked, and they all made it. So I was kind of thinking that with regards to the canoes as well. You know, you get some long logs or something and duct tape, and I think there's a chance you could fix those boats enough to get out. So I almost went number 1 or 2 with duct tape. I just think that stuff could save your life. So.
Right? No, that's you know, you could even with a big gash or something like that, you can duct tape that shut. If you had a big.
That's what we did with our boats in Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, I agree. All right, so let's go on to the set of clothing. Caitlin has it as a number 3, and I had clothes that were wet. I had it at 11.
I had it at 3 too.
I had it at 3 as well. I think I may have it too high though.
I had mine at 12.
All right, Lisa, you and I are thinking the same thing, I think.
And probably it's not so much that they were wet, because that can be dried with once you use your matches to start the fire, right?
Right.
But well, I don't know my reasoning. Never mind.
No, I agree, Lisa. I think the one thing I'm thinking right now is you obviously have clothes on at this point anyway. And if you have matches and make a fire, you should be able to dry the clothes that you have. Mm-hmm. And that kind of makes an extra set of clothes for half the people kind of a luxury item that I think I would change my answer and go more in line with what you guys have. I would drop mine. What do you think, Ramon?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it makes sense what you guys were saying. So
the other element too is once they're dry, they can be used, you know, eventually for, you know, ripping apart if, you know, to maybe help the one with the bone injury,
yeah,
or, you know, things like that. But they've got to, their purpose comes alive when they're dry, not necessarily when they're wet.
Yep.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, no, I can see that side. I mean, so do you guys want to move it up a little bit? I mean, because you can use it for bandages and you can actually, jeans, you can haul water in a pair of jeans. I mean, not very far, but you can haul water in jeans.
I think I'm fine moving it way back from 3. I'm not sure how high to put it, but I think 3 is way too low for it.
Yeah, I agree. 3 is way too low for it.
So I'll be fine, like maybe 10, 11. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe higher than that.
Do you want to do 10?
Sure.
Okay. All right, and this one I thought was super crazy weird, but the yellow frisbee. Caitlin has it at a 14, and I have it at a 12.
I have it as a 14 too.
14.
13. 14 wins.
14 wins. I like it.
I feel like this one's the trick question, though. It made me think, what is it we're supposed to use this for?
No, I think, I don't know, but I was super confused. Okay, so we have that one at a 14.
It's a tool to use, right? You know, shoveling out dirt or, you know, whatever.
I don't know if it's like to wave it in the sky if you see somebody coming bright. I have no idea. So the next one was water tablets. Caitlin has this at a 1 or a 2. I had it at a 1 because I know that you cannot survive very long without water.
I had mine as a 6.
I have it as a 1 too.
I have it as an 11, in large part because they talk about how much it rains, and I think you could figure out a way to gather or harvest rainwater, or find a stream or something that's usually fresh.
And your yellow frisbee.
And your yellow frisbee. Yeah.
There you go.
That's a good point, that if it has been raining, you're right, it's fresh water. It's not polluted.
Yep.
So
No, I agree. I'd be willing to move mine to a little less important. So what would you guys like to agree on? I mean, I'm good with a 6.
Yeah. I mean, I still think that it's, in my opinion, I would want that as a number 1, but I see what you guys mean. So.
Yep. I mean, normally, I think if we were out on like the desert or something like that, or, you know, in drier conditions, then I would definitely want this water for purifications. But like Bart said, it's raining more, and you could probably capture that water, you know, in your cute little frisbee.
Yep.
Well, there's a lot of areas. There's a lot of areas that you can go that you can drink out of lakes. In an arid desert like Utah, I don't think lake water is usually not very good. But you go to some pristine northeastern area or Midwest up in the north in Minnesota, close to Canada, I've seen pretty pure-looking water that I think I would chance drinking. I know when we go to Montana and stuff, we drink out of mountain streams all the time. And it just depends on where the water. And I think this water is probably a little cleaner than a lot of places in the world would be.
Yep, you're probably right. All right, so the next one is 1 pint of 180 proof whiskey. So Caitlin has it as a 13, and I had it as an 8. You're not. I'm not an alcoholic.
Had it as a 12.
I put it as a 10. I thought I might get thirsty from the bad water.
I put it as a 2. So on this one.
I want to hear that one.
Starter.
That's what I thought too, Lisa.
Oh my gosh, can't even think of the word.
Like
wounds.
A germ killer, you know, to disinfect.
Antiseptic.
Antiseptic. Yes. That's why I
that's why I put mine as high as I did too. Yeah, medicinal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my thinking too. That's when I can put it in 12, but.
Yep. So what are we liking for it? Because I liked it for starting fires and for medicinal purposes, not just getting drunk. So I had it as an 8. What did everybody else have it as?
12.
I'm at a 10.
2.
Whoa.
That's negotiable.
There's one in every group.
Right? It's usually me. Thanks, Lisa.
Lisa.
I'm willing to move it higher, but not too high, I think, because there is value in the medicinal part of it. And
I agree. I agree.
We're not going to be drinking it, so let's use it for something else.
Right? So we don't have a 5 yet. Do you guys want to maybe put it at a 5?
Yeah.
Okay, then bug repellent. Caitlin has this as a 10. I have it as a 14.
I have it as a 9.
Have you guys ever been in that part of the country where there's lots of marsh and water? To me, I've been to areas where you could just be solidly covered with mosquitoes.
Oh,
And to the point that you can't hardly stand life. But the second problem is when you're getting stung that much, especially in recent years as these West Nile diseases and stuff have become rampant. If you spend a week in the woods just being eaten alive, it could be pretty bad.
okay. I'm sold. I could move mine.
Health-wise and
Okay,
comfort-wise.
Well, you know what? I agree.
Um,
I agree with you guys. But if
Yeah.
it's cold, you're not gonna have mosquitoes though.
Oh, that's a good point. And it was cold.
It was cold.
Yeah,
Well, but if it's
but
wet,
it does. Now, where did I read? I think it read. Well, yeah, it gets up to 70 degrees during the day.
That's a good
And
point, yeah.
where we go in Montana every year, it's kind of similar. It'll drop down that cold at night, but in the day it warms up. And you have to have long sleeve shirts. You have to have a mosquito net over your head and use repellent. And it is still almost unbearable. They become so bad because of all the water there. So
Well-
I'm willing to go where you guys want to go. I know that it could be if the mosquitoes are as bad as I think they would be there, it could be a serious health risk as well as so unpleasant that you'd almost go insane. But that's just from some experience with those kind of.
you'd be
I could
drinking
easily go higher.
Yeah, let's go higher.
All right. So we do not have a 2 unless we want to move something else.
Well,
And I didn't have it that high. I had it as a 7. I think it's important, but
Okay,
But I'm
so
negotiable.
we have our plastic map as a 7. So do we want to take the repellent as a 7 and do something different with our plastic map? Hmm. I hear the wheels turning now.
well, it's the domino
the
effect.
map's not important to me at all. I mean, I can almost put the map. Well, I've got it as a 12. You guys have it a lot higher, but to me, the map and the compass are not very important.
Whoa, you must be very,
Just
Were you
very
well,
confident.
just because hiking is not enough.
Sure.
I just don't see myself hiking. My plan would be to use the parachute cord and
Mhm.
lash some long logs to those boats to provide stability,
Mhm.
as well as the duct tape to patch them up. And I'm going to float out on canoes. That's how I would get out. And I'm just going to follow the river down. I don't need a map to follow the direction that the river goes. So that's my thinking, and I may be completely wrong, but that's how I would do it.
I think we're going camping with Bart from now on.
Me too.
I was thinking we need him as our Boy Scout master right
I
here.
think,
You know?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
so let's
So do
say
you-
insect repellent is 7, but then let's move the map higher to like 11.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. I'll bite. Okay. So then we are at matches. So Caitlin has these as a 9 and I have them as a 7.
I have it as a 4.
Okay.
1.
Right.
I've got it as a 1. 1.
You know, I could move mine. Mine wasn't a 1 because I had water as 1, but I could definitely go with a 1. How about you, Ramon?
Yeah,
I
me
want to
too.
be warm.
Yep.
Well, and
Me
you're
too.
drying out
Yeah,
your clothes, your sleeping bags, things like that.
Yep. No, I completely agree because if I am going to be stuck there, I had better be warm or I'm going to have a fit. All
if
right.
you're soaking wet at night at 25 degrees, you're
Yeah,
probably not going to survive.
exactly.
And so I think being warm and dry is going to be your number one priority. Food, you can go days and days without food.
Mm-hmm.
Water, you got all the water you need. It may not be the water that comes out of your tap, but I think the water is going to be clean enough you could drink it. Between that and rainwater, that you could survive.
Sure.
But you can't survive being cold and wet at 25 degrees.
Heavens no. I'm okay with putting those darn dry matches at 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the parachute cord, Caitlin has it as a 12. I had it as a 10.
8.
I had it at a 6, but I think it probably needs to be higher. If I'm going to fix the canoes, I think it's got to be higher.
I do too.
Yeah, I have it as a 13.
Mm.
Well, because I didn't think you can use it to fix anything.
I didn't either. I wasn't, that's not where my mind was either. So
And
I
I'm
think
sorry, guys. I'm not a Boy Scout. I never did Boy Scout, so I'm like, I don't know.
you are totally fine. So I agree. If Bart is going to fix our flotation device and wrap this out of here, we need more parachute cord and we need it higher.
Yes.
So, so Bart, are you willing to replace the parachute cord for your fishing poles?
They're close. Yeah, kind of. I can't put the poles too far back either because I think that's our food source.
Yeah. So how about
number 2? Well,
How about 2? Yeah.
well,
And there's one more that I think is important that we haven't gotten to yet either, and that's the sleeping bags.
yeah.
exactly?
Those dry. Those are sure going to be a lifesaver. I don't. To me, the compass is not very important. The water purification tablets aren't that important to me. The Frisbee's not important. The extra clothes aren't that important. The food's not that important, and the map's not that important. And then I think the next least important thing to me is the flotation devices, although I would sure like to have them with me floating on those bad canoes just for extra security and extra flotation.
So I would suggest that number 2 is our sleeping bags. We want to stay warm in the 25-degree weather, right, at night. I would say that's number 2.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think duct tape, parachute cord, and fishing poles all have to be kind of in that 3, 4, 5 range.
Mm.
So we could leave 3, 4. So then our pint of whiskey would have to go. How long are you going to be gone, Bart? Because if you're going to be gone a long time, I'm going to need some whiskey.
I'm taking you all with me. We're taking both canoes. We're leaving.
We're leaving. You're not going to leave the stragglers behind? All right. So then let's do a 5 for the parachute cord. How about that?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Then we have the water purification tablets.
I guess that can be the last. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah. I mean, should we make that 14? The water for purification.
The one thing I'd hate to find out is that I'm wrong on the water, but I just have to think that the water's drinkable.
Okay.
Well, then let's make it let's make it 13 because
13,
our yellow
yeah.
frisbee is 14.
Okay.
So the water purification.
And then the compass, the last number we have, it's 12, right?
Yeah, we could make the compass a 12.
So make whiskey 6.
Yeah. Let's see.
We just really like the whiskey to have in there, huh?
I really like having that whiskey in there. It makes me feel better about life.
Annie, I think you posted being 14 years sober. Let's be careful here. We don't want this trip to get you off the wagon.
No, it doesn't. I know it. I know it. But man alive. Whew. Even if I didn't like my partners in crime, I could still handle it with some whiskey. All right. So the whiskey is a 6, right? Paste. And then we have a 9. I'm just making sure we have all of our numbers used up. And it looks like we do. Okay.
12 and 2. Okay.
All right. Then I'm going to post in what they have it in the
Experts.
expert. Cut and oh, no. Paste. Okay. So let's see how close we got. And I'll read these off. So they have number 1 is duct tape. Round of applause for Bart.
Yay.
This is the most essential thing because it is the only way to repair the canoe. It can be used to patch up the 10-inch hole or 10-foot hole. That says 10-foot hole. Oh wait, no, it doesn't. Patch up the 10-foot. Teach and to fix the broken gunwales. Other uses for the tape, which the experts say is essential on any such trip, is to repair the fishing poles. Good job. And to use the large sticks to set a temporary splint for the broken leg. Lastly, it can be used to fashion a makeshift pan to boil water. However, caution must be used to keep the tape far enough away from the flame as to not allow the water to get so hot that the adhesive will melt. Okay, I think I forgot to read. Okay, let's see here. We ranked it. The experts agreed that the best course of action for the group was to repair one of the canoes and send 2 of the most experienced and least injured people to paddle to a road and got to Grand Marias for help. Because the search party would not even leave for at least 5 days and might not find the group for a couple days more, this could cause severe hardship on the group, particularly the one with a broken leg. Food is weighed down and there is minimal protection from the rain and cold since the tent and tarps were lost. Cold and rainy weather at this time of year is life-threatening, so the group must get help as soon as possible. It is estimated that the group of 2 would move faster than if everyone went along, and they could get to help within 1 day. Then a helicopter could be sent to the campsite. First priority of the group then is to go for help. However, in order to do this and survive, it is important to get warm and try to dry out wet clothing and sleeping bags. However, since it has started to drizzle and may rain, there is no assurance things will get dry soon. In that case, the party of 2 needs to leave quickly in wet clothes and take their wet sleeping bags with them. There is almost no food left, most of it having been lost in the rapids. About half should go to the to the 2 paddlers who will have less time to gather food, but who will presumably get food to food source sooner. The experts said as long as they have water, they could go for 3 days without food and still function adequately. On the 3rd day, they would get shaky. Those left behind can try to catch some fish. If I were the 2 going on hour 2, I would get shaky without food. I would die. I would be hangry, and it would not be pretty. Okay.
That's what the whiskey is for.
What'd you say?
I said that's what the whiskey's for.
Right? That's what I'm talking about. See, you understand me. All right. So they have the personal flotation devices as ranked number 2. And we had the rotation device ranked at 8. So these are useful mostly because they help keep the body aware, or the body aware. Wait, these are useful mostly because they help keep the body aware. They can be worn as best to keep the torso warm and used as sit pages. What? Or pillows. What the heck? I promise you, I'm reading this word for word. Or wet or cold. Yeah, these are really bad. This is poor grammar. Clod ground. Right now, the clothes are all wet. Even the PFDs are wet. They still provide warmth. Okay, so we missed the marker on that one a little bit. That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so number 3, they have ranked, the experts have ranked as the map of the area. Essential for the 2 people striking out to get help. It would be almost impossible to navigate out of lakes and to a road without the map. The plastic coaching also makes the map useful as a makeshift umbrella.
I hadn't thought of that one.
And neither. Okay. So, number 4 is the sleeping bags. Let's see. Ooh, we hit that one pretty dang close. We liked the sleeping bags more than the experts did, but whatever. This is important to keep warm, both for the paddlers as well as those staying behind. Even though the bags are wet, they still provide some warmth since they are synthetic. It is important to dry them out as soon as possible, though. The bags can be used day or night for warmth. All right, let's go to the matches. We have them ranked as 1. They have them ranked as a 5.
5.
To start a fire as soon as the drizzle or rain stops and begin drying out clothes, the extra set can be dried out and put on at the same time that that some people strip down and get into the sleeping bags while their clothes dry. Fires can be started from the plentiful wood pieces in the area. Birch bark is used as fire starter. The first is important for cooking purposes as well as providing warmth for the group. If the weather had not started to drizzle and looked like it was going to rain soon, then the matches would have been number 3 in order to get clothes and sleeping bag dry, especially for those leaving. Okay. Food, we didn't rank it very high, is number 6. Food, though there isn't much, it will still be very helpful. It must be divided and rationed so that it doesn't run out quickly. For those staying behind, it is hoped that within a day fish can be caught. However, in the meantime, the food that remains should somehow be protected from bears. Okay. And the clothes we have as a 10, they have it as a 7. When it stops raining, the extra clothes need to be dried out, and 3 of the remaining people can wear them. This greatly helps chances of survival. For keeping dry increases warmth. Dry clothes are even more important than securing additional food. Okay. And the almighty fishing poles, we have them as a 3. They have them as an 8. Once the duct tape is used, the poles should be fit for fishing in the lake, where northern walleye and lake trout average 2 to 5 pounds. Fish can be caught and cooked over the fire. A stick may be used as a split to roast the fish, or the makeshift pan from the duct tape can boil the fish. All right, our parachute cord was at a 5, and theirs is a 9. This has many uses as a line to dry clothes, though bushes can be used to secure the food in a tree away from bears, and if the duct tape runs out, the cord can be used for splinting the leg and for repairing the gunwales of the canoe. The gunwales of the canoe. In order to do this, poke the holes near either side of the top using the jackknife. Pull the cord through the holes and tie it securely. All right, let's see here. Insect repellent. We ranked it as a 7 because we are not getting eaten alive, and they rank it as a 10. For protection from mosquitoes and black flies, which are both persistent and thick, as well as wood ticks and deer ticks, which often spread Lyme disease. Okay, they need to put this a lot higher. Who wants Lyme disease when they're trapped?
Yeah.
Seriously. Okay. So water purification, we had it at a 13, and they have it at an 11. So pretty close. Mildly important because the water in these areas is often not is, let's see, because the water in these areas is often not pursue. However, the disease to worry about the most is Giardia and protozoa in the water. It takes 2 weeks to take effect in the body. By the time everyone should be home, water can also be boiled. So yeah, I can see that. All right, and we have the Frisbee at a 14, and surprisingly enough, they have it as a 12. Though thought it was brought for recreation, it actually has some survival value. One use is to heat water in it, being careful that the heat does not melt the plastic. Fish can be boiled in it, as well as can candies and water to provide a warm liquid for the group. Okay.
Well, let's hope we got hard candies in their food supply then.
I know it. Why didn't they say that?
How can you heat water in the Frisbee though?
Yeah, no kidding. It'll melt.
That's kind of. I've never tried it, but these are the experts. I'm not. I don't trust their logic just yet, but the Frisbee can be used to fan the fire through blowing on it. Blowing on it works too. Yeah, it should say though blowing on it works too, and it can be used for recreation to ease the tension. Pretty sure I'm not going to want to play. I mean, their logic, I don't trust these experts at all. Okay, so they have the compass as a 13. We have it as a 12. Well, that's not bad. This is not as important as the other items because the paddlers are well equipped to navigate the lakes with the map. Okay. Okay. And then I disagree with this wholeheartedly. We have whiskey as 6. They have it as a 14. Some may think right?
Not right?
I agree. Yeah. I'm like, I think it needs to be much higher. Some may think this is useful for energy or to keep warm, but actually it has the opposite effect and should only be used as a last resort for pain, broken bones, because alcohol causes dehydrations and hyperthermia, getting colder. After drinking alcohol, the blood capillaries expand, and initially the driver feels warm. However, heat is actually being lost, and later there is a sudden feeling of being very, very cold. Well, we're not thinking in terms of drinking it. We're thinking of in terms of using it.
Right.
Okay, so now we are supposed to, well, we kind of discussed the differences, the group ranking, expert ranking, what was significant and similar, what can we glean from this experience? Okay, so I can glean from this experience that I don't trust these experts at all.
No, I was thinking, there's some things maybe I would tweak with ours after hearing theirs, but I still feel pretty strongly that I think I like our plan better, personally.
I kind of think that we have a greater survival chance than these experts do, honestly.
We should try it, guys.
Right? Let's go. Oh my gosh.
And yeah, the reasonings for things weren't bad. I mean, it's similar to what we had discussed. But our reasonings also, the reasonings between both teams are different. The experts see one thing when we're seeing a different thing. So, good.
Are we all still here? Did I cut out?
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. Okay, I am just, I'm trying to run this through some, it says to get our error. So I'm going to run it through Excel because that's always easier. So give me just a minute. This equals, what are we supposed to do? C minus D. Okay, so we have a couple of negatives. Says who? God. Okay, and then B minus C. Well,
You can't,
Is
yeah,
our-
you can't do that.
that's our persuasion score, right?
Yeah, so we'll have
Yeah.
to calculate that ourselves.
Okay, so then let's see. The group score is the total of all the numbers in E. Let's see, add that, and we're going to do an auto sum. So, oh, that can't be right. That can't, I mean, it says we have a 0. That can't be right.
We
Right?
are dead, guys. We're dead.
You're summing what column E you said?
Yeah. So C, yeah, because it's C minus D. Well, actually, because that's 3 and that's 8, and 3 minus 8 is -5. Yeah, it says we have a 0. Well, I disagree wholeheartedly.
I just did it by hand and I got -4.
You got a -4?
That could be wrong too, so.
Okay, let's see.
Let's see. Okay, I'm going to use my trusty calculator. So we have 3 plus 8. Plus.
Math was never my strong subject, so.
Mine either.
Yeah, 0.
Yep, I got a 0.
Yep.
Okay.
Aw, well, that's sad. Well, I still like our rankings much better. I think we're going to survive, and those experts are going to wish they had us on their team.
So what do we do now? So do we need to submit? So we submitted our personal ranking. Are you submitting what now? I have this up and
Okay, so the next part, it says ask all group members to finalize their table scores, include the individual group and persuasion scores at the bottom of the table. All subtracted calculations results should be recorded as an absolute value, meaning no negative numbers. Record the positive results. So do we each post ours, or do we?
Yeah, I think we got to put each name, our names, and then do that.
Okay, and then it said, okay, so here's one. It says ask students for their individual scores, calculate your group's average member score by finding the average of the individual scores. Okay, so now we need to add all of our individual scores, right?
Yep.
so
Well, you're gonna subtract column B from column D.
oh boy.
You see
That's
what I
fine.
mean?
I'm going to use Excel for that. I wish they would have put this in an Excel spreadsheet. It probably would have been
Yes.
easier.
Yeah.
Copy.
Oh man. Bad.
Okay.
Aw, I got a 0 too. Or also. Aw,
We haven't done anything wrong, have we?
no.
So just a second. It said, ask all group members to finalize their table scores, including individual group persuasion. At the bottom of the table, all subtracted calculation results should be recorded as an absolute value, meaning no negative numbers. So
does that mean we take out our negatives?
no. So okay, math is not my strong suit. Keep that in mind, please. So like in column A, where we're subtracting column B from column D. Instead of it being a -3, if we're taking B minus 3 minus 6, and is that just a 3? So I don't know.
That's the part that I didn't understand when I was reading.
I don't either. And English isn't my strong suit, so it has way too many words in this, and I'm like, I don't get this.
Okay, so there's some that have posted already on the discussion board. Let me see if I can see something.
Glean some information from theirs.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Now, I didn't know we were supposed to individually fill this out. So all I have filled out is my own individual ranking, column B.
Yeah.
I don't have any of the other numbers.
No, and that's right, because I'm just doing it now as well. I mean, I just did the other ones as we've been talking.
Oh, this is confusing.
Is this right? I don't think that's right.
I don't think any of this is right. I don't know how I got... D minus B.
Oh, there's some zeros. But one team had, this is confusing. So,
Oh.
Okay. So if we were to add
This can't even be possible. Even our persuasion score is 0. That can't be right.
Yeah, I think we've got it, instead of using negative numbers, they're just the positive. We're not using the negative form of it, if that makes sense. So the group score, which is E, which is C and D.
So our -5 would be a +5?
Yeah.
Or is it just not there at all?
I think it's there. We're just, I don't know.
Because that wouldn't give you a very correct answer if you're turning them into positives, right?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of hard to tell on discussion board because one group had, let me just see if I can read some of their numbers. So their average member score, which is 28.5. Their group score is 31. The best member score is 25, and the persuasion score is 30.
What? They
So
cheated.
Yeah, and I don't know what that means based off of. Goodness.
Okay, so let's just read this again. All right. All subtracted calculations. Okay. All subtracted calculations results should be recorded as an absolute value. Okay, what's an absolute value?
I'm Googling it right now.
Thank you. I was just going to Google it too.
The magnitude of a real number without regard to its sign. So the actual magnitude of numerical, yeah. So
then they would be turned into positives.
But that wouldn't give you an exact number of it, though.
No, but let's see what this does for us.
So here's one. The absolute value of like -9 is 9.
Yep. So our zeros are turning into positives. I mean, this feels like cheating, but whatever.
That kind of cheating, though.
Right? That's just what I was saying. It feels funny, but
should I change all the negatives to positives then?
Yep, that's what I'm doing. So I do 9, 5, 2. Okay, so let's see here. Where's my page? So then our C minus D, what was C, is 9. So then that score, our group error is a 54.
Is a 54?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, so that one is a 54. Okay, our individual scores. Mine is a 54.
Okay, so I guess I'm confused again. It does not.
So we turned all of our negatives into positives.
Okay.
So mine is 61.
Yours is a 61.
Yeah.
Okay, how about yours, Ramon?
I'm taking the negatives right now. So
Okay. How about yours, Bart?
I haven't figured mine because that's the only numbers I have inputted on my papers, my own individual scores. So I might be kind of lost then.
So do you need
I wasn't right.
the group and expert rankings then? So you can input
Yeah,
that.
I need to input that.
Okay, let me turn my screen around and so you can see it. And then you can input it. Oh, that's the wrong button. Sorry.
So let's see.
Shows you an address.
Okay, do you see it? So this is our group ranking, and these are the expert rankings.
Oh, it disappeared. Oh, there it is. Oh, it keeps disappearing. Let me see again.
Okay, so it's So what about when I do the column A, my individual error?
Yep.
When I get a negative, do I change that to a positive then?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, Danny, can you walk me through now how I do my individual error?
Yep. So then I put it in Excel, and I just took your ranking, your B column, and I minus it. I took your B column and your D column, and so B minus D gives you that column A.
But you don't go negative, you stay positive.
You stay positive.
So if I had my ranking was a 9, experts was a 6, I'm still a 3. Is that right?
Yep.
But if I had a 6 and they had a 9, even though that's -3, it's still 3.
Yep.
That's kind of weird, isn't it?
It's very weird. I don't understand why that's the way we're doing it.
Can you have a 0?
No, I don't think you should. Because you should have positives. It should all be positive.
You're showing a 0 on Frisbee, though. But how would you change it to anything else?
I'm showing, okay, so, oh, yes, you can have a 0 there. I'm sorry. I thought you meant, can you have a 0 like in a number, in like a total?
Okay. Okay, then the number you were asking me for, Danny, are you just totaling all the numbers in column A?
Yep. Do you have that number?
$45.
Okay. Do you have yours, Ramon?
Yes, 52.
Okay, so this equals this.
Are you doing Caitlin's as well?
Oh, I forgot.
We would need to pull hers in as well. Do you need help on that?
No, I'll just hurry and do it really quickly. I forgot all about hers.
Because we've got to find an average score, right, for the team.
Yep. Okay. So let's see here. Let me hurry, and I'm going to save this one, and then I will start a new one for hers. Okay, so her ranking was, okay, the food was a 1. Math was a 7. This was 11. 5. 3. 6. 15. 9. Eight, 4. Okay, so I'm gonna do Caitlin's really fast. Her individual is B minus D. B minus D. Okay. Okay, hers is a 54. Okay, so now we'll try this equals. This. Divided by 5 of us. Okay, our average is 53.2. Here it is.
What can I help you with, Danny?
Well, I've lost all the little cute words at the bottom of this page. So let's see here. Let me.
So when we post to the discussion board, we need to post our average score, the group score, the best member, and then the persuasion score. And if your group had a process gain, your group score was lower than the average member score. So what was our average member score?
So our average member
3.2
score, okay, is 53.2. And who had 61? Was that Bart?
Bart, you're on mute, I think.
I am?
Bart is.
No, Bart.
Oh, yeah, Bart, you're muted.
Sorry, I was talking to my
Did you have a score of 61?
On the individual, I was 45.
Okay, who had 61?
I thought I had. It's actually 68.
It's 58, like 5'8"?
6'8".
Oh, 6'8".
6'8".
Rock star. So
That
then our average is
whiskey payoff.
54.6.
54.6?
Yep.
54.6.
So.
But isn't that an error score? I think you want the lowest number possible. I think that's our deviation from what the expert score was.
Oh, so we haven't done our Persuasion score.
Persuasion
score. Hang on, let's get that.
But see, that's based on our ranking, how we rank. So we would all have to individually do that.
Yep.
But,
Okay.
So if we had a process gain, if our group score, which is 54, was lower than the average member score, which it was, then you did have process gain. Right?
I'm trying to get back to where.
12, line.
Okay, process gain. The yes is the group score was lower than the average member score. So on our group score was C minus D.
54, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, come on. So our group score was 54. And our average score, yeah, so we had a gain because we were 54.6, the average.
Okay. So we just have to report 8 through 11 in the discussion board.
8 through 11.
Yeah, the number on the list of things we're doing. So we find the table scores, the individual scores, we find our average score. So we're posting our average group score, or yeah, the average group score, the best member score, which would be the low score, correct?
So
Yeah.
the best member score, the lowest of all would, yeah, so that one is Bart's.
Go, Bart, go. Woohoo!
I thought it was Lisa because she had the 60 something. I was like, the whiskey payoff.
Right?
No.
I know it. That whiskey.
No, he used his outdoor skills to his benefit tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then our persuasion score, did we get that one?
58.
That one was the 58. Oh my gosh.
Well, no, the persuasion score is B minus C, so it's your rankings minus the group ranking.
Oh, that's right. And that,
So you have,
and that
Yeah.
will all be, we just post in individually, right?
Well, no, but if you guys look at the bottom page, it says the persuasion score, total all numbers in column F.
Right, but column F is column B minus C.
Your scores minus your group scores.
So, but we need to ask Bart what his persuasion score, because he's the one with the best member score. So,
mine was 15. I already did that.
Oh, it's 15. Okay.
so do you have all that, Danny?
I do, and I am going to post it right now.
So best member score.
Yep, so here, let's see. The best member score is Bart at 45. Let me read the instructions. Oh, come on. Where? Okay, so the average member score was 54.6. The group score was 54. The best member score was 45. And the member persuasion score was 15. And we had a process gain.
Yes.
Did you guys do your persuasion score though? Is it because you guys have a lower persuasion score?
Well, no, because you have the best member score. That's it says that's the group member with the best member score for their persuasion score. Because your score is going to be a lot lower than ours because you had a lower member score.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. I get it now. Okay.
So yeah, it says best member score, the lowest of all individual scores for the group, which was yours.
Basically, you won.
You won.
Game
That's
over.
right.
I get the whiskey.
You get the whiskey. Yay. Oh my gosh, you guys, this has been so long, but it was so much fun.
It was fun.
It was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I hope you guys have such a happy Thanksgiving. I know that I am super thankful to have all of you in my group.
This has been a fun night.
Yep.
Thanks for
Okay.
us tonight, Dan.
Hey,
So
yeah,
so 2 weeks from now, right?
yeah, because we won't meet next
Yes.
week. Right? We've done everything that we would do next week, correct?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
So who's in charge in 2 weeks?
Who was after me? Ramon,
So
were you after me?
I was next week, so I can take next week. I mean, 2 weeks.
So you'll take week 11.
Week 11, yes. Mhm.
Yay!
We're almost
Okay.
there.
Eat lots of Thanksgiving food, you guys. I sure appreciate ya.
Hey, thanks,
See ya,
everyone.
guys. Bye.
See
See
ya.
ya.